News at 5:30 starts right now.
A one-of-a-kind park for children with special needs is now here. Mitchell's Landing on the north side of town had a grand opening this weekend, welcoming hundreds of families to the new playground. Our Devin Karp spoke with some of them and the family behind it all to hear their thoughts on the big day.
After years of hard work, the day is finally here. Mitchell's Landing is open and feedback has been positive.
Good, you having fun?
Yeah.
Awesome.
While turnout has been in the hundreds.
I never have ever seen this many people at a single playground.
When it comes to all the kiddos here and everything, I mean, did you expect to see this many people?
Yes, honestly, I did.
It's overwhelming. The support we have from the community, it is overwhelming, honestly.
Mitchell's Landing is named after April's 3-year-old son who died in 2018. But she says she wanted to turn her pain into something good for others.
Once this project started going and we started hearing from community, it really isn't now about his name, actually. It's so much more about what it does for the community.
It's taken a lot of work from volunteers like Xavier.
Well, it brought me happiness and, it just felt really good helping out the community.
To family friends like Addison.
It's so cool. I was crying earlier with April. It's so cool, and it makes me happy that they were able to put this together.
They've made sure there's something for everyone at the pirate-themed playground.
There's lots of features on here. There's almost too many to talk about.
The twisty thingy, where you sit on it and it goes, that's fun.
It's really good and important. Yeah, and adults can play too.
Just the love and happiness. Honestly, you feel it. Everyone's so happy here. You feel the good energy here, and I love that.
April Chang is emotional seeing her hard work pay off and knows that even though he's gone, Mitchell is still making life better for everyone in San Antonio, leaving a legacy of love for all.
My goal is for this playground to be the playground that these kids talk about to their children when they get older.
Devin Karp, KSAT 12 News.
3 teens are facing aggravated robbery charges after police say they stole a car from another group of teens at gunpoint this morning. It happened near Glendale Avenue and Prosperity Drive on the west side. The 3 suspects are all 16 to 17 years old, according to police, and were found inside that stolen vehicle along with a gun on historic Highway 90. One of the teen victims was also pistol whipped in the head, according to police. That injury is non-life threatening. In court tomorrow, a woman charged with a March 2023 murder is expected to be sentenced. Mariah Cabrera was one of 2 charged with the fatal shooting of David Allen Resentes. According to police, Cabrera and Javion Johnson are alleged to have organized a drug deal online and set up a meeting with Resentes. The pair are suspected of ambushing, robbing, and shooting the 20-year-old victim. According to online court records, Cabrera accepted a plea deal back on October 18th and is expected to be sentenced tomorrow morning. No word on what the terms of that plea deal are yet. As for Johnson, he is right now scheduled to go to trial in mid-January. The commute home during the holidays can be unpleasant. Today is expected to be the busiest single travel day of Thanksgiving weekend, and in some parts of the country, the weather isn't cooperating. ABC's Rena Roy reports massive snowfall is throwing a wrench into so many trips back home.
A cold blast across parts of the Midwest and Northeast. Up to 5 inches of snow along the I-70 corridor from Kansas City to Louisville. Lake effect snow creating challenges for residents along the Great Lakes region. Multiple wrecks in upstate and western New York. At least 5 states have issued winter alerts, with parts of Pennsylvania, Ohio, and New York expecting snow totals up to 6 feet in the coming days.
We're using front-end loaders, backhoes, skid steers, anything we have to remove snow to at least get one side of the street open.
More than 2 feet in parts of Erie County, Pennsylvania have already fallen. Authorities there are setting up emergency shelters. The storm spawning a water spout over Lake Erie near Buffalo today. Along I-90, New York's governor declaring a state of emergency in several counties and deploying the National Guard.
Buffalo, here I come. I'm on my way.
In Buffalo, the Bills Mafia helping clear out Highmark Stadium ahead of tonight's game against the 49ers. Millions are heading back home after the holiday. The FAA saying there were 232,000 flights nationwide from last Sunday through Thanksgiving, an all-time high.
This morning has been a lot less crowded than I thought it would be. Pretty smooth coming in and leaving.
The traffic has been a little crazy, but the airports are very easy.
To keep up with the travel demand, the FAA is using special military airspace off the Atlantic coast and Gulf of Mexico for commercial use. Air traffic controllers have also been implementing traffic management initiatives. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
If you notice some dogs in San Antonio looking holier than usual, that could be because they received a pet blessing. Reverend Sylvia Vasquez spent the afternoon at Market Square blessing a long line of dogs as people from all over San Antonio flocked to the downtown area for the special kind of blessing. The Reverend says it's important to recognize how important pets are to our everyday lives and that this is one of her favorite activities since she's a dog person.
Sometimes we'll say that creation was God's first sacrament. And so animals are very much a part of that sacrament. And in our country, our pets are very beloved. And so it stands to reason that we want them to have blessings just like we like to have blessings.
Now, this is a long-standing tradition in Market Square, and organizers say it's getting more popular every year, already getting ready to host the event again in 2025. Now, the holidays can come with the side no one wants: sickness. Germs are spreading just like holiday cheer. How you can protect yourself and your loved ones. Next on the News at 5.
We need a servant leadership mindset that believes every student can learn and that is committed to the district and the district's children.
The Texas Education Agency is putting out a call to community members who want to turn a local school district in the right direction after years of leadership failures. On GMSA, when a final decision will be made and how you can be a part of the future board.
Well, sometimes the holidays come with the side nobody wants: illness. Indoor gatherings can be a time when germs spread. As Haley Powers found out, whooping cough is making an aggressive return to San Antonio.
Now is the time of year when respiratory illnesses are on the rise, but there is good news here for San Antonio.
The overall respiratory virus illness activity is low.
The bad news? Whooping cough is making a return into our community after numbers have been low since before the pandemic. Dr. Anita Kurian with Metro Health says San Antonio is seeing a 230% increase of whooping cough cases. That's due to social distancing, isolating, and masking being a thing of the past.
Those measures that we put in place for COVID-19 were also effective to prevent the spread of other respiratory illnesses, including whooping cough.
To prevent the spread of respiratory illnesses, Dr. Kurian recommends staying up to date with your vaccines, staying home when you are sick, covering your mouth with your elbow when you cough, and practicing good hand hygiene.
Frequent hand washing is the simplest, but yet the most powerful way of preventing these respiratory illnesses.
All these viruses present similar symptoms like a fever and cough. If your symptoms get severe, go to your doctor immediately. Haley Powers, KSAT 12 News.
All right, switching gears now and heading outside with live cam this Sunday evening. Plenty of cloud cover in place. That's been a theme today, but still high temperatures managed to climb into the low 70s here in San Antonio. We had an official high today of 71 degrees, which is above average for this time of year. Looking ahead to the upcoming week, tomorrow is generally going to be quiet and mild. Once again, a high temperature near 70 degrees expected. On Tuesday, though, we start to see a few changes work back in. Some areas of light rain, keyword there being light, accumulations not all that impressive, but that's expected, and temperatures are expected to be a bit cooler as a result. Then into the middle to later portions of this week, we still have a few isolated to widely scattered rain chances in the forecast. All those details coming your way after this.
Now, Mia, I know we talked a little bit right now during the break, but there's a possibility we could see some rain this week.
Some rain. I want to temper expectations right off the bat. It's not going to be a whole lot of rain, but at least we do have some rain chances in the forecast. Yes, fingers crossed. It's nice to see those return. We're trending in the right direction compared to the drier than average November that we just wrapped up. Tomorrow is going to be fairly quiet across south central Texas. Just a 10% chance for a stray shower currently in the forecast. We'll bump that up to a 40% potential, though, for some areas of scattered light rain on Tuesday. That could continue into Tuesday night and early Wednesday morning. Isolated by Thursday, and then a few more 30% as of right now chances for rain Friday and into the start of next weekend. But those potentially could be a little bit higher depending on how the upper level wind pattern plays out here in San Antonio, which we'll talk about in just a second. Right now, nothing out there on authority radar. We do, of course, have the cloud cover still streaming through. There's an area of low pressure, though, off to our south that's starting to develop. A few showers out in the western Gulf of Mexico. This is going to be the catalyst behind Tuesday's 40% chance for scattered light rain. Watch what happens here on your futurecast. This is 4 p.m. tomorrow. Yes, mostly to partly cloudy skies expected here in San Antonio, but most of us will stay dry. As that low pressure system starts to work its way farther up to the north by Tuesday morning, that's when we'll start to introduce that 40% chance for some scattered light rain. The heaviest of the rain is going to be centered closer to the Gulf Coast. That's just thanks to where exactly that low pressure system is expected to track, but we'll keep that scattered light rain potential going through Tuesday night, tapering off throughout the day on Wednesday. I mentioned that isolated rain chance that could potentially be higher by Friday and into Saturday. That wild card is going to depend on this low pressure system moving in from the west. How quickly does it do so? That's what that's going to depend on. I want to be clear with Tuesday's rain chance, though, it is expected to be very, very light rain. Don't anticipate a lot in the backyard rain gauge by the time all is said and done with that round, upwards of a 1/10 to maybe a 1/4 of an inch at best. But depending on how Friday and Saturday's rain chance pans out, a few more healthier showers will be possible over the next 7 days. It is looking like we could see totals upwards of about a 1/2 of an inch here in San Antonio. Still not great, but we'll definitely take it. Overall, the theme being drier the farther west that you go, a little bit more rain possible the farther east that you go. Still fluid, so of course something to check back in on in the days ahead. Let's briefly talk temperatures. Here's a look at tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Monday. Upper 40s here in San Antonio, closer to 50 degrees, especially the farther south and west that you go. Low to mid 40s, so still a chilly start across portions of the hill country. Partly to mostly cloudy skies expected. 65 degrees expected around lunchtime. We've got a forecast high temperature right around 70 degrees. Notice with some of that light rain cooled air in place by Tuesday, high temperatures may struggle to climb out of the 50s. Right now we've got them briefly hitting 60 degrees, then warming back up a touch, upper 60s and low 70s by the second half of the week.
All right, fingers crossed for rain.
Absolutely.
Now we're gonna have to talk football. I'm sorry.
Maybe
I
should just leave now.
Well, she's gonna break it gently for you.
Thank
yes,
you,
but a lot of football to talk about.
I know we haven't caught up since Texas took down A&M yesterday. It definitely shook things up in the college football world. As for the NFL, the Texans took down the Jags today for some important momentum entering a late bye week next week. And college football rivalry week was one for the ages. We'll take a look at the conference championship matchups and a recap of it all after the break. Welcome back. In Jacksonville, the Houston Texans trying to build their lead atop the AFC South heading into a bye week. And Derek Stingley Jr. helping the effort in the second quarter, picking off Trevor Lawrence. And he's not done. Stingley Jr. returns the INT 31 yards. Houston extended its lead on a field goal shortly after. Still second quarter. This is what the game will be remembered for. Aziz Alshire with a violent hit on Lawrence. The Jacksonville QB was carted off of the field and left the game and never returned with a concussion. Alshire got into it with Jags players afterward, and there were several ejections. The Jags would later tie it up with a pair of field goals. Third quarter, Joe Mixon rushes in to go-ahead score. Fourth quarter, Texans up 10 when C.J. Stroud hits Dalton Schultz for a 22-yard touchdown, his first TD of the year. Jacksonville did respond with back-to-back touchdowns. However, in the end, Houston hangs on for the 23-20 win. The Texans own a 2-game lead atop their division. Mixon became the third player in NFL history with at least 100 rushing yards and a rushing touchdown in 6 road games in a single season. This was also Houston's 12th win in its past 14 meetings with the Jags and 6 in a row in Jacksonville. Here's D'Amico Ryans and C.J. Stroud after the victory.
Now the story is flipped. We can't score in the second half. All right, so we tried to save our points for the second half this week. So, really, our offense did a good job there. We settled for some field goals early in the first half, but the defense, I thought, did a good job of holding their offense as well and coming out the second half just to see us go down and drive. It's been an emphasis for us, and it's nothing different. Our guys just executed and made the plays that were there for us in the second half.
The way we've handled these last couple of weeks has been long, to go. This has been a grind, kind of getting to week 14 to get a bye. We're not fiending for a bye, but we're also very grateful that it comes now, and then we got 3 games in 10 days or something crazy like that. So this is like perfect timing. It's been tough. It's been a long year.
A late bye week for the Texans. All right, a wild weekend of college football certainly made things interesting. The latest AP Top 25 poll. Ohio State, Miami, and Clemson plunged after their Thanksgiving weekend losses. Now, there will be 2 top 5 matchups in conference championship games coming up on Saturday. The nation's only undefeated team, Oregon, will face number 3 Penn State in the Big Ten championship. Number 2 Texas will play number 5 Georgia in the SEC title game, which will be a rematch of their October battle, which the Bulldogs won. Also, SMU will take on Clemson in the ACC championship. Boise State versus UNLV in the Mountain West Ship, and Arizona State will face Iowa State in the Big 12 title game. And speaking of, late last night at Kyle Field, the Longhorns punched their ticket to the SEC Conference title game in their debut season in the league after knocking off Texas A&M 17-7 in the rebirth of a storied rivalry. The Aggies will wait to see which bowl game they'll play in. Meanwhile, Texas will face Georgia for the SEC title Saturday, with the winner getting a first-round bye in the 12-team college football playoff.
It's a great way to end kind of the regular season. This is where we wanted to be. We knew when we had the slip up earlier in the season that we'd have to win out to get back to a championship game, and we've earned that right, and we're playing a heck of an opponent. And as we all know, Georgia's a great team, and we're going to have to prepare really well to try to come out on top.
We've come a long way. That's just what teams do as we go on through the season. And to be in the position we're in, we had to get better each week, and we're definitely excited to get to play in the SEC championship for sure.
We are 1 week out from learning who will be invited to face off in the 2024 Valero Alamo Bowl. Here's a look at who from the Big 12 and the Pac-12 are eligible. Some predict, now that Iowa State and ASU are in their conference championship game, Colorado and BYU could meet in the December 28th Alamo Bowl. Well, tonight, the San Antonio Spurs take on the Sacramento Kings with a key NBA Cup game on the horizon where they can advance out of group play. Now, the Spurs have been idle since Wednesday when they fell 119-101 to the Lakers, which ended a 4-game winning streak. San Antonio beat the Kings in mid-November. Here's a look at the matchup. It's an 8 o'clock tip-off, and we'll have the highlights on Instant Replay. And that leads us into tonight's Instant Replay poll question. Will the Spurs beat the Suns on Tuesday to win the West Group B in the NBA Cup? Yes or no? Vote now at KSAT.com/sports/poll, or you can use the QR code right there on your screen, and we'll have the results at the end of Instant Replay tonight. It'll be fun. Yes.
I'm already voting. I'm voting now.
That's my vote, too.
Yes. Go Spurs, go. We'll be right back.
All right, before we let you go, the numbers are in. November 2024 ringing in as the third warmest November on record here in San Antonio, with an average temperature of 66.8 degrees, records dating back to the mid-1880s. It was also a drier than average month, so it is good to see some rain chances returning to the forecast for this first full week of December, even though it likely won't amount to a ton. You know, at least it's something.
It's something. Yeah.
And temperatures, especially on Tuesday, could be a bit cooler too.
We'll take it. Well, ladies, that's all the time we have for now. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here tonight on The Night Beat.